or the Herd operating system from the Free Software Foundation. And these are not simple toy operating systems. These are complex, sophisticated systems that can do anything that modern-day computer systems need to do. They have a wide range of different file systems that students can study, including Samba, which is a network file system that talks to Windows and also Apple clients. They have almost every networking protocol in existence, but not just the ability to see how the protocol works, the source code to see how it was done. If you're interested in computer security, there are at least 2 different security models that are used in Linux, including one by the National Security Administration of the United States. Virtualization is the key word of today, and Linux has 2 different virtualization methods that you can look at. You can also run some Windows applications in binary-only form on top of our Windows emulator called Wine. If that is not good enough, you can run Windows itself underneath the box, which is a hardware emulator. But free and open source software isn't just about the operating system. It's about things like compilers and languages. And every language that I know of is a free and open source project where you can study it. The only existing implementation of the Ada language is a free and open source project. If you go out to SourceForge, you'll find out that there are 430,000 different projects out there with 3.4 million developers working on them. Microsoft has 70,000 employees. 28,000 of them are in sales and marketing, and therefore have no useful purpose. They only have about 7,000 people whose names have a software engineer. And the programs out there are not just programs for computer science. There's programs out there that help business and enterprise. Programs out there for home and education. Programs out there for science and engineering. And you students can see not only how to use the programs, but how the programs work. They get taught twice. If you want to teach the students how to collaborate to improve the programs, they're taught 3 times. These programs are built on top of other programs, so you can utilize parts of them. If you're doing research, you can do your research faster because you no longer have to write all of the software to do it. And so now we're doing a new type of computer programming. One where we don't create a product anymore, we create a service. A service to the customer of creating software the way they need it. The service that's going to cut that 8.5 billion reais wasted down to perhaps 2 billion reais wasted every day. And if you think we're wasting a lot of money today, imagine when the next 5.3 billion people start using computers. We have to act today. Don't be afraid of the word service, because people who are highly trained to do service can make a lot of money. Think about a brain surgeon. They don't make a product. You do not end up with a second brain when they get finished. They repair the brain you have. Yet we pay them a lot of money because our brains are very important to us. So here's what we should be teaching in this new model. How to do distributed development, how to write and develop to formal standards, how to locate and engage and innovate all the time. This is what we should be teaching. We should not be teaching products. We should be teaching fundamentals so that the things that your university students learn today are good 42 years from today. One of the first speakers here at the conference said, a university student learns something in year 1 and it's obsolete in year 3. I learned things in 1969 that are still just as viable today because I learned fundamentals, not products. It's more than just free software. It's free hardware, like your Arduino or the Raspberry Pi. It's open telephonies. It's open certification, where the community determines what is necessary for people to be certified, and then we develop the certifications for it. We separate training from certification. We allow the students to get the training any way they want to, and then we certify them so that business people will know that these people have received the training. We create a simple licensing model via Creative Commons, which allow people to share knowledge freely. How many of you have heard of Project Gutenberg? No, hardly anybody. 39,000 books, which are out of copyright, available electronically to be pulled over the internet, with references to 100,000 books that can be freely available to students. In 1994, we had a problem where supercomputer companies were going out of business. So they created a concept known as Beowulf systems to create supercomputers. And it was Linux, the same Linux I use on my notebook here, was running on those supercomputers. You can train your students how to program those supercomputers with software that runs on their notebooks. And what types of problems do they solve? Problems of data mining, problems of resource prospecting, which is very important to Brazil. It's very important to the environment. You can teach them to search document databases, virtual reality, and making movies like the Titanic, Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit. All of these are rendered on these supercomputers using Linux. We even have a movie making software called Blender, which allows students to make animated movies and games and even 3D architecture. The software is free, the movies are free, and the intermediate results are free. Even the training materials are free. Free as in freedom, and free as in beer. You don't have to have a very expensive lot of money to create these supercomputers. Here is one made of cast-off computer systems sitting on the floor, hooked together with very, very sophisticated networking coming out the back, all running Linux. And you can go down to embedded systems, very small systems, also running the same Linux kernel. So imagine your students taking these systems and creating products from them. Products that could be manufactured in Brazil and giving jobs to people in Brazil, and products to export out of Brazil. I am working on a project here in Brazil where I have a great deal of frustration. Why? Because I can't get manufacturing companies in Brazil to manufacture the quantity of products which I need for my project. They say, just buy it from Taiwan. Just bring it in and pay the duty. Just pass the duty on to the customer. But what does that do for jobs in Brazil? Who is going to buy my products if they don't have a job? Henry Ford, when he created the first automobile production line, was standing with the head of his employment union. And he said to the union head, how many of these machines are going to pay money and union dues to your